Hello students, today we will start with discussion of the test number 10, Principle of Inheritance. Question 1 is the law of segregation of characters postulated by Mendel can be related to the presence of two genes for each character in a cell. It is not correct. A gamete receiving only one of the two homologous chromosomes during gamete formation. If we consider all the three laws postulated by Mendel, the law of segregation is related to the gamete formation, like only one chromosome is received by each gamete. So answer is B. How many types of gamete would be produced if the genotype of a parent is capital A, small a and capital B, capital B? There are one heterozygous condition. So 2 raised to the power 1 is 2. Two different type of gametes can be produced. The number of phenotypes in ABO blood grouping. In ABO blood grouping we have 4 different phenotypes like A, B, AB and O. And there are 6 different genotypes. So answer is 4. 4 different phenotypes is available. The test cross is used to determine. Test cross is a cross where heterozygous progeny is crossed with recessive parent, right? In this condition we can do this. Capital T small t is crossed with recessive parent. That is test cross. It is used to determine genotype of the plant. So answer is A. Next is the ratio of genotype in F2 of monohybrid cross. In monohybrid cross, the phenotypic ratio of F2 generation is 3:1. And genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. The F2 generation of a cross produced identical phenotypic and genotypic ratio. It is not an expected Mendelian result and can be attributed to. If we consider F2 generation, then identical phenotypic and genotypic ratio was produced in codominance and incomplete dominance. Right? In codominance and incomplete dominance, if we consider incomplete dominance, ratio was 1:2:1 for genotype and for phenotype both. In codominance and in incomplete dominance, both in both the cases, phenotypic and genotypic ratio are same. So answer will be C. Next is in human, the dominance relationship between A and B alleles of ABO blood grouping genes is an example of codominance. ABO blood grouping follows codominance. What is the probability of production of dwarf offspring in a cross between two heterozygous tall pea plant? Two heterozygous tall pea plant is this, capital T small t and capital T small t. So 25% is capital T, then 50% capital T small t and 25% small t. So we have to find the percentage of dwarf offspring. Dwarf offspring is 25%. Linkage reduces the frequency. If linkage is there, then it reduces the frequency of hybrids. In a dihybrid cross, if you get 9:3:3:1 ratio, it denotes that the alleles of two genes are interacting with each other? No. It is multigenic inheritance? No. In case of multiple alleles? No. The alleles of two genes are assorting independently. It is the result of independent assortment. So answer is D. In this pedigree, which of the progeny is younger? These are the parents. First progeny, second progeny. So it is the youngest one. Answer will be B. 4. A pleiotropic gene. Pleiotropy is a condition where one gene controls multiple characters. Right? Multiple traits or multiple characters are controlled by a single gene. That condition is pleiotropy. So a pleiotropic gene controls multiple traits in an individual is the answer. The genetic disorder phenylketonuria is an example of, and pleiotropy is an example, and the example is phenylketonuria. So answer is D. Phenylketonuria is an example of pleiotropy. The X body of Hanking was observed in All the sperm during spermatogenesis, actually Henry observed that in insects 50% of the sperm was having X chromosome and 50% does not. So all the eggs during oogenesis is incorrect. Half of the sperm during spermatogenesis contain X body, so answer will be C. In XO type of sex determination, that is the same sex determination, female produces two different type of gametes. Female produces same type of gamete, that is X with X chromosome. Male produces two different type of gamete, that is correct, 50% with X chromosome, 50% without X chromosome. That is XO type of sex determination. Point mutation may occur due to, point mutation is change in single base pair or nucleotide in a DNA. So that is point mutation, and classical example of point mutation is sickle cell anemia. Which of the following is recessive autosomal disorder? If we consider recessive autosomal disorder, then sickle cell anemia and thalassemia both are autosomal recessive disorder, while hemophilia is X-linked recessive disorder. Extra X chromosome is present in which of the following cases? In Down syndrome, there is trisomy of 21st chromosome, so that is not the answer. In Klinefelter syndrome, XXY, basically extra X chromosome can be seen. While in Turner syndrome, XO type is present, means absence of one X chromosome. So answer is B. The person with Turner syndrome has 44 autosomes, that is correct, and only one X chromosome is absent. Answer is D. Red-green color blindness is a sex-linked trait. Which of the given statement is not correct regarding red-green color blindness? Red-green color blindness is X-linked trait. So X-linked trait has basically three conditions. If suppose these are the parents, if daughter is affected, then father has to be affected, correct? It is more common in male than in female. This statement is absolutely correct about color blindness. Homozygous recessive condition, homozygous recessive condition is required for the expression of color blindness in female. XC. This condition is required for color blindness in female. So that is also correct. Male can be carrier of the trait. Male can never be carrier of the trait. If XCY condition is there, then the male is color blind. Color blind women always have color blind father and always produce color blind son. That is the condition, and this is also correct. So answer is C. It is well known that Queen Victoria of England was a carrier of hemophilia. Since this is an X-linked disease, it can be predicted that all of her sons would have disease. If the female is carrier, then 50% of the male child will be diseased and 50% will be disease free. So all of her son would be diseased is incorrect. All of her daughter would not be affected. Her father must definitely have hemophilia. That is not the condition. Hemophilia would have occurred in more of her male than her female descendant. That is a correct statement. This is also given in NCERT. Hemophilia is mentioned as a trait carried by mother and passed to her sons. What is the pattern of inheritance for this trait? Hemophilia is an allele. Hemophilia is an allele carried on one of the mother's autosomal chromosome. This is incorrect. It is on sex chromosome, particularly X chromosome. Hemophilia is an allele carried on Y chromosome. That is also incorrect. Hemophilia is an allele carried on X chromosome and can be directly inherited by son from the father. It is not transmitted from the father, it is transmitted from the mother by son. Hemophilia is carried on X chromosome and can only be inherited by the son if the mother is carrier or disease. That is the correct statement here. Suppose if the mother is carrier for hemophilia, right? So if this is carried by the son is diseased. So it can be carrier or it can be diseased. It can transmit the disease to son. If both parents are carrier for thalassemia, suppose this is the condition, carrier for thalassemia, Which is an autosomal recessive disorder? What are the chances of pregnancy resulting in an affected child? So this would be the product, right? This is the affected child. So 25% are the chances. Which of the following amino acid substitution is responsible for causing sickle cell anemia? In sickle cell anemia, glutamic acid is substituted by valine in beta globin chain at 6 positions. So answer is D. Distance between the genes and percentage of recombination shows a direct relationship. So distance between the genes and percentage of recombination shows a direct relationship, because if we increase the distance between the genes, percentage of recombination will also increase. In sickle cell anemia, which of the following triplet code for valine? Code for valine is GG. The inheritance pattern of gene over generation among human is studied by pedigree analysis. Character studied in pedigree analysis is equivalent to Mendelian trait. In the F2 generation of Mendelian dihybrid cross, the number of phenotypes and genotypes are, the phenotypes are 4 and genotypes are 9. Phenotypic ratio is 9:3:3:1 and genotypic ratio is 1:2:1, 2:4:2, 1:2:1. In a test cross involving F1 hybrid flies, more parental type offspring were produced than the recombinant type. This indicates if there are more parental type, then it means the two genes are linked and present on the same chromosome. So there will be more parental type and less recombinant type. Answer is C. Failure of cytokinesis after telophase stage of a cell division result in increase in whole set of chromosome, and that condition is polyploidy. Aneuploidy is increase or decrease in one or more chromosome, but if a complete set is doubled, then that condition is polyploidy. Which one from those given below is the period for Mendel's hybridization experiment? 1856 to 1863 is the period. A disease caused by autosomal primary non-disjunction. Non-disjunction of chromosome leads to aneuploidy, and a result of aneuploidy is, it can be Klinefelter syndrome, Turner syndrome or Down syndrome, but in the question it is given autosomal primary non-disjunction. So autosomal non-disjunction can be seen in Down syndrome, trisomy of 21st chromosome, while in this non-disjunction is seen in 6 chromosomes, so it cannot be the answer. Beta thalassemia is controlled by a single gene HBB on chromosome number 11. Alpha thalassemia chromosome number 16, beta thalassemia chromosome number 11. The frequency of recombination between gene pair on the same chromosome as a measure of distance between the gene, it was given by Alfred Sturtevant. The map unit centrimorgan is adopted in construction of genetic map, and it is a unit distance between the gene, that is 1% recombination or crossing over. What is a genetic disorder in which an individual has an overall masculine development? Overall masculine development is seen in Klinefelter syndrome. Along with that, individual is showing female characters also, gynecomastia, and the individual is sterile. Experimental verification of chromosomal theory of inheritance was done by Morgan. So he is also known as father of experimental genetics. So next question is, how many true breeding pea plant varieties did Mendel selected as pairs? So answer is 14. How many pair of characters is considered? Then answer is 7. How many total varieties are considered? 14. In a cross between male and female, both heterozygous for sickle cell anemia gene, what percentage of progeny will be diseased? So sickle cell anemia is autosomal recessive disorder. Capital A, small a, heterozygous condition. Capital A, capital A, capital A, small a, capital A, small a, small a, small a. So answer for diseased is 25%. D. The production of gamete by parents, formation of zygote, the F1 and F2 can be understood from the Punnett square diagram. The recessive parental trait in a monohybrid cross is expressed without any blending in the F2 generation. That is absolutely correct. There is no blending of traits. When the tall and dwarf plant produce gamete by the process of meiosis, the alleles of a parental pair separate from each other and only one allele is transmitted. That is law of segregation of Mendel. That statement is also correct. So both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct. Mendel's law of independent assortment does not hold good for the genes that are closely linked on the same chromosome. That means if independent assortment is there, then linkage should not be there. If linkage is there, then independent assortment is not followed. So statement is correct because closely related genes assort independently. Actually, closely related genes do not assort independently. Reason is incorrect. Answer is B. Assertion is correct. Reason is not correct. Which of the following occurs due to presence of autosome linked dominant trait? Autosomal dominant inheritance is myotonic dystrophy. If a colorblind female means XC, marries a man whose mother was also colorblind. If mother was colorblind, then this male is also colorblind. So the progeny will be XC, XY. Correct? What are the chances of her progeny having color blindness? So 100% of the progeny will be colorblind. Colorblind female, colorblind male, colorblind female and colorblind male. Next, match column 1 with column 2. Select the correct answer using the code given below. ABO blood grouping shows multiple allelism. Law of segregation is shown by monohybrid cross. Law of independent assortment is based on dihybrid cross. Gene mutation is base pair substitution. So answer is 4213. Next question. Turner syndrome. Turner syndrome is 44 plus XO. Linkage is discovered by Morgan. Y chromosome test is determining factor. Down syndrome is trisomy of 21st chromosome. So answer is 2341. Match the symbol used in pedigree. This is mating, right? Consanguineous marriage or mating. Parents with male child affected with disease is this, and sex unspecified is this. So answer will be 3154. Sutton and Bovary argued that pairing and separation of a pair of chromosome would lead to segregation of a pair of factor they carried. That is absolutely correct. Chromosomal theory of inheritance. Sutton united the knowledge of chromosomal segregation and Mendelian principle and called it chromosomal theory of inheritance. Both the statements are correct. Chromosomal aberration are commonly observed. It means changes are observed in cancerous cell mutations. Yes, it is correct. The alteration in chromosome result in loss of a segment of DNA or gain in a segment of DNA. That statement is also correct. Capital T is the genotype of plant, while tall is the phenotype. That is correct. The hybrid contain allele which express contrasting trait. In that condition, the plant is heterozygous. That is also correct statement. Human skin color is controlled by 3 pair of alleles. 3 pair of alleles, A, B and C. Skin color in humans show pleiotropic. It is not correct. It is polygenic inheritance, not pleiotropic inheritance. So assertion is correct, but reason is incorrect. According to chromosomal theory of inheritance, the behavior of chromosome is parallel to the behavior of genes. That is correct. Sutton and Bovary gave chromosomal theory of inheritance. Chromosomes as well as genes occur in pair, and the 2 alleles of a gene are located on homologous site of homologous chromosome. That is also correct, and it is the correct explanation also. So answer is D. Cross of F1 individual with recessive homozygous parent is a test cross. F1 individual means capital T small t. Cross with homozygous recessive parent, that is test cross. No recessive individual is obtained in the monohybrid test cross. That is incorrect, because if we cross this, then 50% is recessive progeny. So reason is incorrect. In anti-venom, selfing of F1 pink flower. Selfing of F1 pink means capital R, small r, capital R, small r. It produces red, 50% pink and 25% white progeny. Produces same phenotypic and genotypic ratio, that is correct. Antirrhinum flower gene show incomplete dominance, that is the reason why phenotypic and genotypic ratio are same. So both are correct and it is the correct explanation also. Answer is D. In honeybee, drones have 16 chromosomes while queen has 32 number. Yeah, that is queen is diploid and in honeybee male are haploid. So that statement is correct because males why males are diploid, drone bees are diploid, because male have developed by parthenogenesis, that is development of organism without fertilization. Male bee develop from unfertilized egg and female bee are developed from fertilized egg. That is the correct explanation. So answer is D. Rajesh and Mahesh have defective hemoglobin due to genetic disorder. Rajesh has too few hemoglobin molecule while Mahesh has incorrectly functioning hemoglobin molecule. If we consider both the condition, then incorrectly functioning hemoglobin and too few hemoglobin. Too few hemoglobin are synthesized in thalassemia, while incorrectly functioning hemoglobin molecule are synthesized in sickle cell anemia. Identify the disorder they are suffering from. So Mahesh has basically sickle cell anemia and Rajesh thalassemia. So answer is B. Rajesh has thalassemia and Mahesh has sickle cell anemia. If there is same option, D option is also there. So thalassemia and autosomal linked recessive blood disorder, correct. Sickle cell anemia is also autosomal linked recessive disorder. Autosomal linked recessive disorder, autosomal linked dominant trait. That is why this option is incorrect. Answer is B. Identify the incorrect statement. In male grasshopper, 50% of the sperm have no sex chromosome, that is XO type of sex determination. In grasshopper have XO type of sex determination. That statement is absolutely correct. Usually female bird produce two type of gamete based on sex chromosome. That is also correct. The human male have one of their sex chromosome much shorter than the other. That is also correct. In domesticated fowl, the sex of progeny depends on the type of sperm that fertilizes the egg. Now, if we consider domesticated fowl means in birds, ZZ and ZW type of sex determination. This is for male and this is for female. So basically, gamete from female decided the sex of the progeny. So in domesticated fowl, the sex of progeny depends on the type of sperm. That is incorrect. 100% sperm will carry Z chromosome. So this is the incorrect statement. Next question, for a particular character in an individual, each gamete get only one allele. That is correct. Law of segregation. And chromatid of chromosomes split or separate and move toward the opposite pole in anaphase of mitosis. That is also correct. It is given in chromosomal theory of inheritance. So both the statements are correct and B is not the correct explanation. It is because of segregation of chromosome, not separation of chromatid. The reason is for segregation, not separation of chromatid. So that this is not the correct reason. Under low oxygen tension, RBC changes to its shape in an elongated sickle-like structure due to polymerization of the affected hemoglobin molecule. Answer is D. That is the condition for sickle cell anemia. Choose the correct statement given below. Regarding Mendelian inheritance, Mendel's experiment had small sampling size. This is incorrect. It has large sampling size. A true breeding line shows a stable trait inheritance expression for several generations. This is correct. That is the definition of true breeding line. In a dissimilar pair of factor, one member of pair dominates the other. Correct. Capital T, small t. Capital T is dominant, small t is recessive. A recessive parental trait is expressed only in heterozygous condition. It is only expressed in homozygous condition. So this is incorrect. Two alleles of a gene are located at homologous site of homologous chromosome. That is also correct. So answer is B. 2, 3 and 5 are correct, and 1 and 4 are incorrect. In a mice, black coat color is dominant over brown coat color. The offspring of a cross between black mouse and a brown mouse are allowed to interbreed. Offspring would be capital B, small b. If they are interbred, then progeny will be having capital B, capital B, capital B, small b, capital B, small b, small b, small b. What percentage of progeny would have black coat? Black coat means this offspring. Answer will be 75. Read the following statement and select the correct option. A dog flower plant, that means antirrhinum, shows incomplete dominance for flower color. That statement is correct. In pink flower, both alleles are expressed equally. That is for codominance, not for incomplete dominance. So assertion is true and reason is false. Heterozygous tall and violet flowered pea plant was self and total 512 seeds are collected. What will be the number of seeds for both heterozygous trait? So heterozygous tall and violet. That is the condition. They are self. Total number of seeds are this. If we consider the heterozygous progeny, so capital T, small t, capital B, small b. This would be 1 by 2 and this would be 1 by 2. Answer is 1 by 4. 1 by 4 of 512. That is 128. 128. Answer is A. Choose the incorrect statement from the following about pleiotropy. In pleiotropy, a single gene produces more than one effect. That is the definition of pleiotropy. Starch synthesis in pea is controlled by one gene. That is also correct. Pea seeds have capital B genotype for small star. This is for large size, not small size. So this is incorrect. Small b, homozygous produces wrinkles. That is also correct. Through artificial selection, domestication and ancestral wild cow, we have well-known Indian breed, that is Sahiwal cow in Punjab. This is given on the first page of the chapter. Which statement is incorrect about Mendelian disorder? It can be dominant or recessive, correct. It can be traced with pedigree analysis, correct. These are present on autosomal only. It can be present on sex chromosomes also. So answer is C. According to the law of dominance, characters are controlled by discrete unit called factors. That is correct. Factors occur in pair. In dissimilar pair of factor, one member is dominant over the other recessive pair, and all of the above for law of dominance are correct. In a linear chromosome map unit in centimorgan between 4 gene loci are given below. So basically A and B, it is given for A and B, it is given 10 centimorgan, correct. The distance is 10 centimorgan. B and C, it is given 4 centimorgan, and A and D 3 centimorgan, D and B 7, A and C 6. So A and C is 6 and C and B 4 centimorgan, B and D 7, so distance between A and D is also 3, and D and B it is given 7. So D and B it is given 7. So we have to find the distance between D and C. So this total distance is 10, this is 3, this is 4, so this will be 3 centimorgan. So percentage frequency will be 3%. Selection of flower of garden pea is shown in diagram with labeling. Removal of which part will result in emasculation? Emasculation is removal of anther. So the answer will be C, R. that is this part. Given type of chromosome can be observed in G2 stage. In G1 stage it has single chromatid. In G2 stage after application it has two chromatid. A man with blood group A married with a woman with blood group B. The maximum possible type, you have to consider heterozygous condition. This. So it can be AB blood group, A blood group, B blood group and O blood group. So all the types are possible. Answer is A, B, AB and O. Fused earlobe appear in the progeny due to an autosomal recessive genes. Work out the genotype of member in the given pedigree. So it is autosomal recessive gene type. So it has to be small a, small a, small a, small a, small a and small a. If this is small a and all the progeny are disease free, so this should be capital A, capital A. This is small a and this could be capital A small a, or capital A small a is the only progeny possible and this is small a small a. So we have to find genotype for 2, 3 and 1. For first we have to find for 2, for second generation we have to find for 3. 3 is capital A small a, and for third generation we have to find for 1. 1 is capital A small a. Capital A is not possible because this parent has small a genotype. So answer is this A. In a monohybrid cross, F1 generation exhibit dominant trait. In monohybrid cross, capital T crossed with small t. For first generation, it is capital T small t and the phenotype trait is tall. So this statement is correct. Dominance occur only in heterozygous state. It can be occurred in homozygous trait also. This is also dominance. So this statement is incorrect. A is true, R is false. In the given pedigree chart, what will be the nature of inheritance? This is for autosomal recessive disorder. It can be X-linked recessive also, but X-linked recessive is not given in the option, so it can be autosomal recessive. Find the correct statement. Generally, a gene regulates a trait, but sometimes one gene has effect on multiple alleles. This statement is correct. Effect on multiple allele is pleiotropy. The trait AB group, blood group of man, is regulated by one dominant allele and another recessive allele. Both are dominant allele. A and B both are dominant allele. O is recessive allele. So answer is B. Statement 1 is correct. Statement 2 is incorrect. The progeny produced exhibit the character of both the parent. That is correct. Variation is the degree by which progeny differ from the parent. That is also correct. Correct statement. But it is not the correct statement. Answer is B. If we are considering any progeny from any parent generation, then it exhibits the characters of both the parent because it is formed by sexual reproduction or fusion of gamete. So it contains both the genes from both the parents. Variation is a degree by which parent differ. That variation is because of recombination. So that is not the correct explanation. So answer is assertion is true, reason is true, but reason is not the correct explanation. With the help of given pedigree, find out the probability for childbirth of given child, no disease and being a carrier. Has the disease mutation in one allele of the gene in F3 generation? So we have to find for F3 generation. So this is X-linked recessive trait, XY, XCXC, XCX, XCX, and XY normal male crossed XCX, XCX, and this is XCY, XX. So we have to find the progeny. XCX is crossed with XCY. The progeny will be XCY, XY, XCXC, and XCX. So we have to find for F3 generation no disease and being a carrier in F3 generation. No disease and carrier is 1 by 4. Only one progeny out of 4. Which of the following disease can be represented by given pedigree analysis? This pedigree chart is for autosomal recessive trait, and that is sickle cell anemia. It is not for X-linked recessive trait. Female is disease and father is normal. So it cannot be X-linked recessive trait. It is for autosomal recessive trait. In a cross between male and a female Drosophila, if 60 out of 100 were found to be parental type, then calculate the percentage of recombination. If 60 is parental type, then recombinant type is 40, then recombination frequency is also 40%. Independent assortment occur when the genes under study are located on different non-homologous chromosome. Independent assortment occurs only when the genes are present on non-homologous chromosome, different chromosome, but alleles should be present on homologous site of homologous chromosome. Unlinked genes show independent assortment. If linkage is there, it would not show independent assortment, and that is the correct reason also. In a cross between this capital P, capital B, capital Q, small q, capital P, small p, capital Q, capital Q, how many offsprings will have the genotype capital P, small p, and capital Q, small q? If we consider for capital P, small p, then for this parental trait 50% I mean 1 by 2 will be the probability for capital P, small p, and from these parent capital Q, small q is probability for this also 1 by 2. Answer is 1 by 4, B. In a dihybrid cross between capital A, small b, small b, small a, capital B, the ratio of this in F2 generation. For F1 generation, the progeny will be this. Selfing of this would produce F2 generation. So for F2 generation, capital A is 1 by 4, capital B 1 by 4, that is 1 by 16. Capital A 1 by 4 and capital B, small b 1 by 2, that is 1 by 8. Small a 1 by 4, capital B, small b 1 by 2, 1 by 8. Small a 1 by 4, capital B, small b 1 by 4, that is 1 by 16. So 1 is to 2 is to 2 is to 1 is the ratio, and that is the probability. So options is 1 is to 2 is to 2 is to 1. This. Which of the following statement is correct? Sickle cell anemia is a quantitative problem. That is incorrect. It is qualitative problem. Incorrect. Hemoglobin is produced. Similarly, thalassemia is a quantitative problem, not qualitative problem. Female carrier for hemophilia may transmit the disease to the son. That is correct. Change in whole set of chromosome is aneuploidy. It is not aneuploidy, it is polyploidy. Which one of the following statement is correct for the given type of sex chromosome? XO type of sex chromosome determine the sex in grasshopper. It is for insect. That statement is correct. Homozygous sex chromosome determine female sex in birds. That is incorrect. The male heterogamety is seen in bird. XO condition in human. That is also incorrect. It's found in Turner syndrome. Determine male sex. It is for females. XO condition. Homozygous sex chromosome XX produces male in Drosophila. It is for female only. So this is also incorrect. Color blindness occur in dash % of males and only dash percentile of female, 8 and 0.4, 8% in male and 0.4% in females. How many maximum type of gametes are produced from an individual with genotype this? There are 3 heterozygous condition, 2 raised to the power 3, 2 into 2 into 2, answer is 8. Mendel's law of independent assortment has its basis in which of the following event of meiosis? 1. Answer is alignment of tetrad at the equator. Biological unit controlling heredity is gene. Genes which code for a pair of contrasting traits are known as alleles. Punnett square was developed by British genetist Grignard C. Punnett. In incomplete dominance, the ratio which does not deviate from Mendelian monohybrid cross is genotypic ratio. Both phenotypic ratio and genotypic ratio are same, but phenotypic ratio in monohybrid cross was 3:1. It deviated from 3:1 to 1:2:1. But genotypic ratio was same, like 1:2:1 in monohybrid cross for dominancy, and for incomplete dominance also it is 1:2:1. A cross between black flat plant and white flat plant yielded grey flat plant. A phenomena is incomplete dominance. Intermediate character is obtained. A child with O blood group has B blood group father. So the genotype for father would be capital B, IB and IO. The genotype of the father will be this. You can also write it as like this. Drosophila melanogaster is found to be very suitable for genetic study because they could be grown in simple synthetic medium in laboratory, correct. They complete their life cycle in about 14 days, correct. A single mating could produce large number of progeny. Male and female are clearly distinguishable. Female are larger in size. It has few hereditary variation that can be seen with high power. It should be low power microscope, not high power microscope. So answer is B. The offspring capital A, small b, small b, small a, capital B is crossed with, so progeny for this is crossed with this, the genotypic ratio of the progeny. So the progeny will be capital A small a and capital B small b. It is crossed with this progeny. It is an example of test cross. So the ratio will be 1:1:1:1. Mendel did not propose incomplete dominance. Dominance, segregation, independent assortment were the principle given by Mendel. Distance between the genes A, B, C and D in the mapped units are given. Find out the sequence of the gene. A and D 3.1, A and D is given 3.5, A and B is given 6, C and D this should be C. A and C is given, we'll take it as 5. A and C is 5. C and D is 1.5. So 1.5 plus 3.5 is 5. And what is left? A and B. A and B is 6. So the answer would be A, D, C and B. B is there. So it will be 1. Total 6. A, B, A, D, C, B. Recognize the figure, find out the correct matching. This is male Drosophila, it is female Drosophila. So answer is A. Mendel did not observe linkage due to independent assortment. If independent assortment is there, linkage would not be there. Sex of a child is due to sex chromosome of the father.